Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about dry brushing for lymphatic health. Hi, my name's Corinne, and here at Spirea, I share videos that weave together plant wisdom, holistic health, self-sufficiency with just a dash of magic. If this sounds interesting to you, I'd love for you to stick around. So before we get started, if you have any severe lymphatic conditions, major issues with lymphatic drainage, edema, lymphoma, anything like that, don't listen to me. Listen to your natural healthcare practitioner or health practitioner of choice, and make sure you're always consulting your medical team so you know what's best for your body. So essentially, the human body has two main fluid systems that help the body to circulate all of the necessary minerals, vitamins, nutrients, blood, of course, to all the areas of the body where it needs to go, as well as helping to detoxify and eliminate waste products. So the first one, which most people are familiar with, is the cardiovascular system. But the second is our lymphatic system. What makes them different is that the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. Our cardiovascular system has our heart. It's a pump. It works to pump blood throughout the entire body, but our lymphatic system has to rely on movement in order to ensure that the fluids are moving well. So things like sedentary lifestyle and restrictive garments, including undergarments and clothing, can really impact lymphatic health because there's no way for the lymph fluid to really move beautifully through the body. And so I always tell people that you've got to look at those aspects too. If you're really sedentary, you're going to have lymph settle in areas, because what gets lymph moving? Things like dry brushing, which I'm going to talk to you about today, and jiggling. We really do need to jiggle and move. So those restrictive undergarments aren't really doing you any favors either. So one really cool way to help support your lymphatic system is to incorporate something like dry brushing into your everyday personal care routine. Now, based on my research, dry brushing has been around for a very, very long time and is actually based in Ayurvedic medicine. And I may pronounce this incorrectly, but I believe the practice was called Garshana, where they use the dry brush as a way of like lymphatic massage, which is really cool. And so there are a few benefits to dry brushing in addition to stimulating lymphatic flow and lymphatic drainage. One of them being that you're really going to slough off all those dry skin cells, which is fantastic. It's also really great for cellulite. So if you kind of focus on the areas where you may have a little bit of cellulite forming, if you do a regular dry brushing routine, it can really help to improve the tone of your skin. So one of the things you're going to need, of course, is a dry brush. And this is a natural bristle brush. It's really important to get a natural bristle brush. And there's a few different varieties. You can get one like I have with the long handle, which is great because you can reach your back. But a lot of the ones I've seen are actually, they look just like this, and they've got like a little handle for you to hold it this way, and then you can dry brush. There are also dry brushes that are specific for the more sensitive or tender skin areas on the body, such as your breast or your face. So I would really suggest, if you want to do dry brushing in those areas, that you get a facial specific dry brush, because the bristles are much softer, and they're not going to irritate your skin. Another alternative for those areas would be doing something like a face roller. And there's a lot of nifty, cool tools out there these days, and these are specifically designed, again, to move lymphatic fluid throughout the body, but in this case, it would be on your face. So in the next segment, we're going to dive into exactly how to do dry brushing, and I'll show you the nitty-gritty details. It really doesn't take that long. My dry brushing practice is maybe anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and you always want to do it right before you're about to hop into the shower for best results. All right, so I'm actually going to give you guys a brief demonstration on how to add dry brushing into your life and some techniques. Now, I will start off by saying that I did quite a bit of research on this, and there are differences of opinions on how to dry brush, what areas of the body to start in, etc. Based on my logical understanding and like education on the lymphatic system, I'm going to show you what makes the most sense to me. And it's a little bit more in depth than just some of the general information you'll hear, which is when you dry brush, you move towards the heart. And while there's nothing wrong with doing that, you may actually get better results and kind of more efficient or effective outcomes if you actually work towards the major lymph nodes in the area. So the major lymph nodes in the area are in your neck, in your underarms, and in your groin area. And so when I was seeing a few videos and they were talking about moving the fluid towards those areas, because those are areas of detoxification where we remove toxins from the lymphatic system, I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. If you want to learn more about the lymphatic system, I definitely suggest that you check out Weavers of Plant Wisdom, because we're going to be doing an entire module called Love Your Lymph in the next few months. And I'm really excited about that because it's going to go into a lot more detail. But let's go on to dry brushing. Again, you're going to need a natural bristled brush. Your skin needs to be completely dry. No moisturizer, no oils, nothing like that on there. So even after working out, it's maybe not the best time to do dry brushing, just because, especially if your skin's still like a little sweaty. You want to keep this nice and clean. It is ideal to shower afterwards. And so you want to do this right before you shower. And so here's where some of the things differed. Again, a lot of stuff of what you'll read, most blog posts, this is a pretty trendy thing to do, are going to say just dry brush towards the heart, which I think, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but we may get more efficient results if we work with the lymph nodes in the body. So we actually have major channel lymph nodes in our abdomen area. So a lot of people, including me, like to start in this area. And so all you're going to do, you want firm pressure, but not so hard that your skin is starting to get all red and like breaking out in a rash or anything like that. You of course want to feel it. It's going to feel invigorating on the skin, but not too hard. You don't want to go reefing on it. And of course, secondly, you should be nude when you do this, but you know, I am on a video. So we're going to start on the in the stomach area, and you're going to be doing upward strokes. And usually I like to do about 5 to 7, and you're working your way around the abdomen. Okay, and this is going to activate these lymphatic channels in this area. So this is where I like to start, and this is where the long brush handle comes in handy because I can go around and I can reach my back easily. Then you want to start with your upper extremities. Now again, you're going to see differing opinions as to whether you should start lower to upper. I like to start with the upper extremities and work them towards, so this, I want you to kind of divide the body in half and then in quarters again. And so this whole section of the body here is going to be working towards this lymph node in the underarm area. This section of the body here, you're going to be working towards the lymph node in this underarm area. So I want you to take that into consideration when you're doing this technique, just picturing where your lymph is flowing to. So I actually like to start with the upper arm. Again, we're doing nice long strokes, anywhere from 5 to 7. Before you move on to the next area like this. And you're just going to keep continuing on, of course, working the back of the arms and actually right through to the underarm area. Here, you're going to be working your way up, as you can see. Once you're done your underarm, you're then going to do your forearm area. Same idea. Nice long strokes, moving all the way up the arm. 5 to 7, somewhere in and around there. And then you can actually work on your hands. Now, there's nothing wrong. If you've got areas where you have certain edema buildup, fluid tissue buildup, you can spend extra time on those areas. If you have broken skin or areas that are prone to rashing or anything like that, I would really be very sensitive with those areas and perhaps use a softer bristle brush like the one for your face in those areas. So after you're done your arms, you can then work on the chest area. And again, you're going to be working, see, most of the articles you'll read will say to go move towards the heart, moving in this direction, which again, there's nothing wrong with that. You can do that, and I'm sure you'll get a perfectly effective dry brushing session. But I kind of like moving that fluid towards the lymph node, which is sort of my end goal. Now, when you're working on the face, you would usually start with the neck, and this brush is a little bit too irritating for my skin, so I'm actually going to get one that's designed for the face. But you're going to work your way down slowly here, and then you can gently exfoliate and dry brush the face. But I would never use a bristle like this unless you've got kind of like tough as leather skin. You probably want to avoid this. And similar with breast tissue area, you can, and you're going to be working towards the lymph node again, and you really want this to be a soft bristle brush while you're doing that. If you do decide to use a jade roller on your face, most techniques will say to accompany that with some kind of a face oil. So I'll link the video to my face oil up over in the corner here so you can make one yourself and then incorporate that into your lymphatic drainage routine for your skin. All right, so at this point we've done the trunk area, we've done our arms and chest, and we're going to move on to our legs. And the goal of this is you want the lymphatic fluid from your legs to work your way up to the major lymph nodes, which are in your groin area. So I actually like to start with the upper leg. So I kind of visualize the fluid starting to move this way, then I do the lower leg, and then I do the foot. And the reason I do this is I find it just flows a little nicer for me. Again, you're going to discover your own technique. So what I'll do, same thing that I did with my arms. We're just going to do long strokes moving towards the major lymph node that's in that area. So you're actually, right? And again, 5 to 7 strokes. If you've got some issues with cellulite in this area, you know, you can work a little longer in this area too, helping to move the fluid up and kind of over, right? Picture again, you're trying to drain everything out. Imagine you have a flood in your basement. You're trying to get it to that one area where the drain is. How are you going to sweep that water down that way? So once you're done the upper leg, you're then going to move down to the lower leg. Same idea, nice, long, firm strokes, right? Moving up. I do about 5 to 7. I am speeding it up for video's sake, moving all the way around. And you can spend, if you have a lot of edema and fluid tissue buildup in the knee area, of course, again, consulting your physician, you can spend extra time in the knees. And if you have a lot of issues with swelling in the feet, you can spend extra time on that area as well. So I hope you enjoyed this really brief introduction into the lymphatic system and this kind of brief demonstration on how to do dry brushing. Keeping your lymphatic system healthy and functioning well is really, really important. Not only is it a major pathway for toxins to leave the body, it's also where a large number of our white blood cells live. So think about things like immune health and what a compromised lymphatic system could result in. Plus, the lymphatic system is really intimately tied with the cardiovascular system, those two fluid systems working well together. So overall, supporting your lymph system supports your entire body. Now, of course, there's lots of ways to do this. Dry brushing is only one of them. There's herbs that you can use. There's different exercises, massages, all kinds of things that can help support your lymphatic system. So if you're interested in deep diving into this a bit more, I do encourage you to check out Weavers of Plant Wisdom. It is one of the modules in the coming months that we will be covering, and I'll give you guys a reminder for when that one's coming up soon, if that's really what you're focused on. Now, if you've got any questions about dry brushing, or if you have any tips, suggestions, if you've been doing this for a really long time and you want to get your say, please leave some comments below. And until next time, this is Corinne from Spirea Herbs, wishing you health and wellness.